Hi, this is Anna Gidros. Welcome to our Spring Stitch With Me challenge, where we learn 30 stitches in 30 days. Be sure to like, share, follow, comment, subscribe, so you don't miss a thing. Let's get started. Okay, today, welcome back. We are on our 9th day of stitches. And today we are going to do what is said to be the easiest of the shell stitches. And just like yesterday, we're going to use nothing but single crochets and chains. First, we're going to loop in Antique Peach from I Love This Yarn, which I purchased at Hobby Lobby. We're going to start with a chain, leaving a tail to weave in. And then we're going to turn our work to start our first row. Okay, so this shell, it's a type of shell or fan stitch, but it's called the Sprig stitch. Okay, before we start our Sprig stitch today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a row of single crochets on top of the woven stitch that we did yesterday. This is totally optional, but it is going to clean it up so that our stitch makes more sense when we start the repeat pattern. So what I'm doing is I'm going in between every chain one space like we did yesterday, but I'm also going into the single crochets so that we have a complete row of single crochets. And this will be the base row for our Sprig stitch. So again, I'm going between the V's like we did yesterday, but I'm also going into the V's to create a complete row of clean single crochets. It will be much easier to work into this row than it will be to work into our woven stitch. I'll finish this and I'll see you at the end of the row. This is a totally optional step. Okay, now I have done a row of singles across the entire top of the woven stitch, and that is just to give me a blank canvas, an even playing field, and even stitches to work into. Again, this step is totally optional, but I do recommend it. Now we're actually going to start our Sprig stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3 to begin. We're going to turn our work. We're going to skip the first 2 stitches, and then in the third we're going to single crochet 2. Then we're going to chain 2, and in the next stitch we're going to also single crochet 2. Okay, so that's our first shell, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches and repeat the pattern again. So in the third stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets. Then we're going to chain 2, and in the very next stitch we're going to do 2 more single crochets. Okay, now we're going to follow this pattern all the way through. We're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the third stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets, 2 chains, and in the next stitch 2 single crochets. So 2, 2, 2, 2 singles, 2 chains, and in the next stitch 2 singles, and then we'll skip 2. what you're gonna start coming out with is these little shells, which we will work into on the repeat pass. So following that 2, 2, 2, 2 pattern, I will meet you at the end of the row. Okay, we have completed the first row of our sprig stitch, and it creates these pretty little scallops. And when we turn our work and start the next row, it's going to be even simpler. So to finish our row, all we're going to do is skip our 2 stitches, and we're going to single crochet in our last stitch and chain 3 to turn. Okay, so we've turned our work, we've did our chain 3 to start our new row. Now in the sprig stitch and mini stitches, we have what we call an initial row, and then we have our repeat row. The initial row gets the pattern started. The repeat row is what you will do until you get the height that you want. So if you were doing a block of this, you would do this row one time, and then you would continue your repeat row over and over until you're ready to stop the stitch. So our repeat row, we're gonna follow the same pattern, except we're not gonna bother with the skip 2 stitches in this case. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna find that first chain 2 space, and we're gonna work the complete stitch in that chain 2 space. So what that means is we're gonna do 2 singles, two chains, and 2 more singles in that very same space. And then we're going to find our next chain 2 space and repeat the pattern. So we'll have 2 singles, chain 2, and 2 more singles, all in that same chain 2 space. So we're basically going to be stacking our little shells. All right, so we're going to skip to the next chain 2 space. We'll do a single, single, chain 2, single, single. Okay, we're going to skip to our next chain 2 space and repeat the pattern. Single, single, chain 2, single, single. Okay, feels a little messy, but it's going to come out nice and pretty when you're finished. All right, now you can see the pattern starting to form the little scallops. And we'll just continue to repeat this 2, 2, 2 pattern all the way to the end. In each chain 2 space, you're going to do 2 singles, 2 chains, 2 singles, 2 singles, 2 chains, 2 singles, on, and I will see you at the end. Okay, I am coming to the end of the row now, so I'm going to go in my last sprig, follow the same pattern, 2 singles, 2 chains, 2 more singles, and then we are just going to do a single crochet to end our row. And that is your sprig stitch. Now what I'm going to do to clean up this edge for tomorrow is just do another row of singles and doubles on top of my sprig. So I'm going to start with a double in the first stitch. I'm going to do a double in the second stitch. And then I'm going to go into the top of my sprig with a single. And then I'm going to do 2 doubles. And a single into that chain 2 space. Now that is just going to clean up the work very nicely. This is a totally optional row. You do not have to do it, but I feel like it'll give me a very nice starting place for tomorrow. So again, I'm just going to do a double between, or 2 doubles between each sprig. And a single into that chain 2 space. Again, I'm going to do a double in each of these between the sprigs. And a single into that chain 2 space. And again, this just gives me a clean chain to work with tomorrow. So to see that pattern again, all I'm doing is going between my sprigs and doing a double crochet into each of these stitches. And a single crochet into the chain 2 space. And then I'll do a double crochet into each of these stitches. And a single crochet into my chain 2 space. Okay, I'll end with a single crochet and I will bind off. I'll see you at the end of the row. I'm going to put 1 more double in there. I feel like that will even out my row nicely. Then I'm going to chain 1 and bind off. And I, for one, am excited to be done with the sprig stitch. It is not my favorite shell. I've done others that we will cover in later days that I feel make an absolutely beautiful pattern, but we did it. We made it through our sprig stitch and we are ready to conquer something else tomorrow. You can see how it forms that pattern here. It does make a beautiful pattern. If we were to keep going, it would be lovely, but we'll save that for a later date. I hope y'all enjoyed today. Tomorrow we will introduce a new stitch and I will see you then. Have a good day.